As the economy opens up and lockdown restrictions are eased, many people are facing difficult decisions about returning to work. Diabetes UK is calling on the government for better support for the clinically vulnerable. Phaedra Perry, a spokesperson for the charity, joins me now. And Phaedra, what is the current situation for people with diabetes?
Yeah, absolutely. So, situation that stands at the moment, the government announced last week their plans to ease some of the shielding measures, revising the social distancing rules in England, an attempt to get the UK sort of back open for business. But from Diabetes UK's point of view and from our supporters' point of view, not enough is being done or not enough has been put in place to ensure that people with diabetes are going to be safe when they return to work. And that is a real concern to us and to people with diabetes, that the guidance for clinically vulnerable people and people with diabetes are classed as clinically vulnerable, it's too unclear, it remains unclear.
The government have already announced that the shielding programme is going to be ending at the start of August, and social distancing in some situations has already been relaxed. So what do you think the government needs to be doing for people with diabetes?
We are asking the government to be clearer on supporting an employer, because at the moment they have to decide for themselves what they think are appropriate changes to be made for the workplace. So we are saying that people with diabetes have to have a right to continue to work from home if that employer cannot put appropriate social distancing measures in place, appropriate sort of hand washing, hygiene options, or enable them to work from home. So if they can't do that, then we're calling on the government to extend the furlough scheme, for example, so that they can continue to remain safe. People shouldn't have to be choosing between their health and their income, basically, but we know that they are at the moment.
So what would be the ideal situation?
So the ideal situation is that people with diabetes feel confident and able to return to a workplace which is safe for them to do so. And for that to happen, we are saying we need this a COVID risk assessment tool. So that takes in, age, ethnicity, sex, what that risk factor is, allows them to use that to inform their decisions. Until then, that they have the right to stay and work from home. If they can't do that because that's not the sort of job that they have, that they have access to fair remuneration through extension of the furlough scheme, that this guidance is actually properly enforced. So it's not just use the employer look and see if you can make some reasonable adjustments and go and fend for yourself. And then we have to make sure that that's effectively communicated to people so that they know what their rights are. That's ideally where we want to be at, and that's not where we are at the moment. It's still very vague and people are really worried, and quite rightly so.
And has any progress been made so far? Is the government listening to your concerns?
So back in April, when we did our first survey and we called for clearer guidance from the government, that's when they put the initial sort of basic risk assessment in place. Then we issued this open letter, which has had more than 12,000 signatures from people with diabetes on it as well, which called for these more robust measures to be put in place. And we haven't yet had a response from the government on this. So what we are asking our supporters to do now on the back of this open letter is to write, if you're in England or Scotland, to write to your MP and reiterate what we've asked for in the open letter. Or if you're in Wales or Northern Ireland, write to your MS or your MLA asking for the same thing, so that we can continue to put this pressure on the government and make them aware that you can't just forget about people with diabetes and those with long-term conditions in this plan to get our economy up and running.